Well, hello everybody. This is Dr. Troy Dukowitz of the Commit and Go podcast, where we encourage you to make big commitments, take big action, and create big-ass results in your life and business. Today's topic is this. It's Memorial Day. Shouldn't it be every day? So this is a two-part story. I'm coming at you from the Lake of the Ozarks on the day before Memorial Day 2019. And I literally, there's two particular events that I want to share with you here today. So this morning, my son Wyatt and I, we had just gotten off the water, hopped in the golf cart, and we were going for a ride. We wanted to go for a little adventure. And so we went on literally on the side of the road as we're driving off-road on the golf cart, and we see two people running, and they're holding flags. And one particular person had the American flag, and the other one had a POW MIA flag, Prisoners of War Missing in Action flag. And when we saw them, we just slowed down, and I gave him a thumbs up. I'm clapping, and Wyatt's really excited. He's like, "Daddy, what's going on? What's going on?" He doesn't know, but I wanted to show them appreciation right away for what they were doing. So I'm clapping for them and just giving them a thumbs up and yell across the street like, "Thank you for what you do." And they kind of gave me a little salute back, and they kept running. And that's scenario number one. And then number two happened quite a few hours later, as my wife and I had gone into, I believe it was Walmart here, and when we walked in, we were looking for some pool toys, and there was a particular gentleman that I saw who had a Vietnam War hat on, and I saw him, and he's like, "Oh, please go before me." He's a very polite gentleman, and he's like making sure that Leah and I are together. We had Walker with us, and just keeping us together. And I saw him, and in my head, I'm like, man, I just want to tell him, thank you for all you've done, but it's like the moment was over. It really wasn't, but for some reason in my head, it was kind of like, well, the moment's over. We're already over here. He's already walking the other way. It's done. Until finally we go to pay, and as we go to pay, I turn around and I see this gentleman again. And I go ahead and I pay for what we've got, and I grab all the bags, and I just literally walk away. Now, my wife knows me well enough to know that if I'm walking away and I'm going to do something, it is for a purpose. And I walked right up to the gentleman, and I extended my hand and said, "Sir, I just have to say thank you for all you do." And he put out his hand, and he shook my hand with the most firm, strong grip you could possibly imagine. And he smiled, and he said, "Well, it's a funny story. It was the luck of the draw. I was the lucky lottery winner." And he was kind of being sarcastic. And he said, "One day I got a special letter in the mail, and they invited me to participate." I could tell there was obvious sarcasm there, and I looked at him, and I said, "Well, if it's any consolation, I'm thankful for all you've done. Thank you." And he smiled, and he said, "Well, thank you for saying that." And I turned and walked away with tears in my eyes, as I do every time I come in contact with a servant like that who has just given their lives and their well-being. And we never know what they've gone through, but they just give so much in order for us to be able to experience what we get to experience here in this country. And I looked at my wife, and she knew exactly what I was doing, as she had tears in her eyes, and we didn't have to say a word, and we just continued to walk away. Now, the point of both of these scenarios is that as you're listening to this, maybe 10 years from now or 20 years from now, and it's not Memorial Day, is that I want to make sure that this is something that should still be talked about, meaning that although I'm delivering this first presentation of this discussion on Memorial Day 2019, it's applicable on any day. And what I mean by that is that shouldn't we really be honoring these people every day of the year? And that's what I want to share with you today, is that when you run into somebody, if you haven't done it before, and you see somebody wearing a hat that says World War II or Vietnam vet or Iraq, or you see them wearing any of those service hats, or you see them wearing their fatigues out in public, what would happen if you just walked up to, not just on Memorial Day, but any day, just walk up to them and say, "Thank you for your service." Now, I do this all the time, and I don't say this to impress you, but to impress upon you the impact that you can have with such simple words. That as we look at Memorial Day and we think of all the people who have died for our freedoms in this country, there are people who are still fighting for our freedoms in this country. There are people who still go to war. There are people who are still doing things that we don't even know about to protect us and keep us safe. And what would it take for you just to walk up to the person who you see in the local Target, or you see at the gas station, or you see at a restaurant, and you shake their hand and say, "Thank you for your service"? What would it take that when you see them sitting at a table, maybe 2 booths over, to go ahead and pick up their meal? And not have to be acknowledged for it, but just to tell the waiter or waitress, "I want to pick up their meal." There's no reason to tell them that I did this. I just want you to say to them that there is a patron in here who said thank you for your service and we're picking up your meal. That's it. And yes, I have done that before as well. There's such a deep impact that we could have in this world if we would just learn to appreciate and have gratitude for people. And so you start to realize in this discussion that this carries over. It carries over into your personal life. It carries over into people that you love. And it carries over and it becomes a part or a way of living that we make sure that we let people know that we love them, honor them, and appreciate them. It's just that simple. So the task that I would ask of you today is, number one, when you see somebody, whether it's a police officer, a firefighter, or someone in the armed forces, that you see them, you just say to them, thank you. Thank you for all you do. And number two, to spread the appreciation further, as you look at someone who is close to you, a brother, a sister, a mother, a father, an in-law, whoever it is, look to somebody that is close to you that maybe you haven't shared this with them for a while, that you love them or that you appreciate them. And just give them a quick message, whether it's a note that you write them, whether it's a post-it note that you're at their house and you stick it in their bathroom so when they come out of the bathroom they see it. I don't know how you want to do this, but just show appreciation for it. It might even be just your own spouse. It might be a boyfriend, a girlfriend, it could be anyone. But just someone that you go, you know what, I need to because I haven't done this in a while, and take that step today. I truly hope you'll take me up on this. I've done this for years. I have such a special place in my heart as my grandfather fought in World War II, and I have a cousin who's also in the service. I have other uncles and that have fought as well. It's like, man, this is just something that I hold so near and dear to my heart for these people so many years and years and years ago who fought for us. They didn't know who they were fighting for, but they knew what they were fighting for. So please take me up on this today, to a service person and to someone you love, honor, and appreciate. That's all I've got for you here today, folks. Happy Memorial Day 2019. If you haven't already, look, I'd really appreciate it if you could maybe return appreciation to me for listening to this podcast and just go ahead and go rate it or subscribe to it or just review it. And finally, if you're interested, we have the Summer Splash program that's coming up here in 2019. It's something that I'm really, really excited about. We are coming down to the final days of registration for it. We're totally fired up. We're going to have an absolutely great program. Love to have you join me. All you got to do is email me, drtroy@commitandgo.com. We're going to have a conversation and see if it's a right fit for you to be a part of the program, and we can move forward together and really kick some ass this summer. That's all I've got for you here today, folks. Hey, I love you, I honor you, and I appreciate you. Thanks for being here. This is Dr. Troy Dukowitz. This has been the Commit and Go podcast. We encourage you to make big commitments, take big action, and create big-ass results in your life and business. We'll hear you next time. Bye-bye.